All right, guys, welcome back to Real Talk here. Part number three, the final part. We're going to go ahead and jump straight into the Australian esports scene. We kind of touched on it at part two towards the end, but let's just start off in your own words, mOOnGLaDe. Can you kind of describe the Australian 2 or StarCraft 2 esports scene, or I guess just the esports scene in general, since you've been a part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a small scene that has been slowly growing for, I'd say, the last 8 years. I mean, yeah, it's definitely smaller than anywhere else in the world. It's definitely smaller than NA and Europe and all that. But we're definitely growing. It's never really just stopped growing, and we have some good competitive players for kind of pretty much every game. It used to be a lot about Counter Strike, but these days it's LoL has taken off a lot, and we do have a few very talented StarCraft players that could do pretty well overseas if given the opportunity. So yeah, it's a work in progress, but we're getting there, and I'm happy to be kind of helping lead the way, doing all this international stuff that I do for StarCraft, and I have a lot of support behind me and a lot of fans of the game always come up to me at events in Australia and tell me, give me their appreciation. So I'm very grateful for that.
Would you say it's here in America and I'm sure over in Europe as well, that a lot of the scenes are like super fragmented? Like a League of Legends player is more likely than not going to be that favorable of say Dota 2, or especially Dota 2 not being that favorable of kind of a League of Legends player. There's definitely fragmented communities. Is it like that with the Australian scene, or is everyone kind of trying to work together to promote the Australian scene?
I would say currently very fragmented. There's a lot of people all over the place doing their own thing, a lot of different games and fragmented communities. Absolutely. I mean, there's always that Dota versus LOL stigma thing going on, and there's always people like the one or the other, but there is pretty much no Dota scene in Australia whatsoever, and so it's kind of completely dominated by LOL. But there are a lot of Dota fans, and yeah, it's pretty much just we got like Melbourne people doing the Street Fighter kind of fighting game sort of stuff, and pretty much nowhere else in Australia kind of is devoted to them as that. And we got yeah, we got StarCraft players, and then we got LoL players, then we got Counter Strike players. So I don't think they exist as much anymore. And besides that, those games are pretty much the big ones. And we do have like FIFA scene and Halo scene. They're much more small time, I think, and don't usually have as many tournaments.
What's kind of the biggest problem when it comes to the Australian scene? Not talking with, or not speaking to it in the sense of like internationally, but amongst yourselves. Like, do you see any big glaring issues within the scene that perhaps need to be changed in the future to really propel it forward, or is everything
I do
pretty much
think
good?
I do think everyone kind of needs to start working together more than anything else. We're so small as it is. If it's fragmented and people are just doing their own thing, then I don't think we'll grow nearly as fast as we could together. And I think a lot of scenes are like that. I think there's a lot of like underlying like hate or people just so many disagreements and people just not getting along. And I think it's kind of like that everywhere. But I mean, when you're in Australia and the scene is already tiny and we don't have much money to work with, I think it's very important that everyone's kind of trying to unifies a bit more, gets working together for the greater good.
League of Legends just recently announced that they are having a server cluster in Australia, right? So you guys are gonna have, I think for the first time, I can't really think of any other games that have had something like that. Your own dedicated server, correct?
Yeah, well, it went live like a week or oh sorry, like a month ago, maybe a
Yeah.
little bit longer, and they had the grand finals of the tournament they were doing at PAX last weekend. And I think we also have Dota 2 servers. Um, but besides that, yeah, it's not really a common thing in Australia. It's like they're trying to grow the scene a little bit more, like trying to get a fan base down here, which is great. And there is certainly a lot of fans for LoL, that's for sure.
Right.
So yeah, there's slowly people doing it. It'd be nice if there was an Australian server for StarCraft, but at the same time, it would only be good for tournaments, not for really practice because the player base is so small.
Right,
It'd just
right.
be like me playing pig all day long or something. So that's not very productive for either of us. So yeah, it'd be nice if more games did that though.
What is kind of the now speaking to the global kind of international presence? What do you think is the biggest issue? Is it just that it's not a big enough scene for the Blizzards of the world or the bigger companies of the world to kind of focus in on? Is that the biggest thing you think?
I do think so. I think it's the scene is very small. That's kind of like why we didn't get a WCS, and I think that's it's so far away from everything that we don't get many international tournaments landing here, having the finals here or anything like that. It's a lot more expensive to get down to Australia than to anywhere else. So those kind of factors play a big part, which is a damn shame. Because we do have talented gamers down here. It's just so much harder for anyone to get out and try and do something in the world.
Do you think that WCS will ever have a presence in Australia, or do you think that's kind of gone
I'd
or never will
I'd love
happen?
it'd be great. I don't think it's gone forever, but I mean we did have one last year, and I think it went pretty well. But I guess for the time being, their plan is to keep it with the big regions and kind of have tournaments around the place that give you points for such tournament for those regions. Maybe one day we'll have like a stop in Australia where you can make some WCS points, and maybe we get some at least some Asian players down here. But I think we're a while off having kind of like our own region for WCS or anything like that.
You know, you kind of serve as I referenced you to be kind of a mouthpiece of gaming down there in esports, since you are traveling internationally a lot more so than some of the other Australian players. Do you ever, if someone comes up to you and you said you met a lot of fans at PAX when prior to recording, and
Hmm.
people are kind of coming to you and perhaps suggesting like, how do I get into pro gaming? What is this pro gaming thing? Should I get into it? What do you say to them?
Uh, I always tell them to stay in school if they're that young, and that's my first thing. Is I think you got to at least finish high school. Uh, and I feel like when I did it, it was kind of I was very very passionate, and I I really I would think I was pretty good at it. So I felt like I had talent enough to kind of make something of it. So I don't know how I really tell them this. It's very hard to kind of just say, well, are you talented at this game or are you like a bronze player? Because I think it's important to have at least some level of talent going into a game before really making that full-time commitment to be a pro gamer. You need to have like a passion for it. You meant to really, if you love this game and you're willing to spend 10 hours a day playing it, uh, all these factors you kind of have to answer before you really want to make that leap. Or at the very least, usually what I'll tell them is after you finish high school, give it a year and see how you go in a year. Put all your time into the game and try and learn and be a pro gamer, or like try and get to a level where you're respected as a competitive player and take it from there. Because you don't know until you try, but there are things to look at that mean you might have a future in it, I guess.
So, kind of, I guess, not a final question, definitely not a final question about this, but with all that you said, kind of how hard it is to live in Australia and to have a presence kind of on the global scene and all the issues that kind of come with that, the travel to these international tournaments, it begs the question, at least for me, why do you stick around Australia? Why have you not made the move to anywhere outside of Australia, and why NV? Like, why have you not made that next step yet? For someone that seems so passionate and so good at what they do.
Well, I guess probably the biggest thing is I just haven't been given an opportunity to really comfortably move overseas and pursue it more than anything else. I mean, I could do it. I could go to a Korean house and probably live there, but it's probably the one thing I don't really want to do because it's so much harder there, and just living with Koreans is it's pretty lonely because none of them speak English. Besides that, I honestly haven't had many talks to foreign teams or anything like that, so I haven't really been given the opportunity more than anything. I mean, I'd like to. I definitely would prefer to be like in America or Europe or somewhere where like the scene is bigger and the trips aren't as long. and maybe even if I had a salary, that'd be nice. But yeah, just haven't really been given the opportunity. And my team manages pretty much his goal for NV is to get players good enough and out there enough to get picked up by those teams that are willing to pick up international players. But so he's more than welcoming that kind of thing to happen. But yeah, I just haven't found the right offer yet, and that's probably the biggest reason for staying in Australia. That, and I love Australia, and I love trying to make esports a more bigger thing here. I like growing. I like it growing. So those reasons, pretty much why I've stuck around for so long.
Has it ever crossed your mind to kind of save up for, I guess, however long you want to, and make a trip to America and kind of live there or try it out for 6 months to a year? Has that ever crossed your mind? Is there any plans like that that you've tried to do, but it didn't really work out?
I haven't honestly saved up and tried it before, though I do know there are some opportunities out there that I could live at a team house just as a guest. Um, but I haven't fully committed to it or anything like that. I was kind of seeing how I'd go this season at WCS, and if I could make it to probably the round of 16 where they send you over, I would strongly consider staying there and making a trip of it. Maybe stay there for a few months or something. Because I mean, what can you can't do too much on like a holiday visa from Australia to like America or whatever. It's like 3 months and then you're gone again. So it'd
Right.
be nice to find something more permanent, but I think that's very difficult to do.
So you guys just had your first PAX with PAX Australia, and you were referencing that it was kind of a big moment for you because it was the first time that it's ever really had something that centralized, and you got to meet more fans than you really ever have
Yeah.
in your life. Is something like that kind of missing in Australia? Do you think if you guys were to kind of put up your own, I guess, league, your own, not really a WCS, but something like a WCS. Is that something you think would help? And is the reason that it has not been created is just because the funds aren't there?
I do definitely think that there aren't enough really funds in Australia for this kind of thing. We do have like a tournament that kind of tours the East Coast called ACL, Australian Cyber League, and they have a reasonable prize, but it's not enough for everyone to commit to. It's not big enough for all the fans to flock to. Um, yeah, but yeah, if we had something like that, maybe even if it was at PAX, we would have pulled in a great deal of viewers. And just meeting all the fans there, we really could have had something there that would have been great. I've never met so many fans at an event before, anywhere in the world, and to find that amount of people in Australia is just absolutely mind blowing. I couldn't believe how many people I met. It was really it's really something special.
Where do you really see the scene progressing? Is it kind of picking up track? Is it moving forward, or is it still kind of stagnating like it has been for some time?
I think it feels like it's slowly moving forward. I mean, with this whole League of Legends thing now, I mean that scene is I think it's really going to take off now that Riot have given us their own servers and are hosting their own big tournaments down here. I definitely think the League of Legends scene is going to grow a whole lot more this year with LCS continuing on. But for StarCraft, it's kind of rolling along. I mean, we don't have WCS, which is kind of a blow this year. We do have the opportunity to play in the online WCS Challenger qualifiers, but they're at 3 a.m. So I don't think any of us are going to really make it if we have to qualify. And yeah, it's kind of just moving along slowly for the moment. Though we do have ACL, but besides that, there's not much else going on.
How much does I always hear kind of the woes of the internet down there? Is that a pretty big factor to a lot of the reason why it seems like the scene isn't there a lot of times?
Absolutely. I mean, none of us can really stream properly, and ping-wise, we have pretty shitty pings to every server these days, including the Southeast Asian server. It's 200 ping across the board. C, NA, Korea, we all have pretty much 200 ping. So we're always at a disadvantage whenever we're practicing or playing online, and it does affect everyone's kind of performance in WCS or WCS Challenger League. Um, yeah, it's definitely a problem that's been around since the beginning of time for Australia. Just shit internet. It's slowly getting better. We're getting like a new kind of system implemented called the NBN, which is going to give everyone kind of like 20 meg upload, 20 meg download or something. Well, not 20 meg download, probably a lot more than that, but very, very decent internet for streaming on. But it's going to be a few more years before that even happens. So for now, we're kind of just waiting for everything to happen.
It sounds like that's kind of the general thing is that the Australian scene's just kind of waiting for things to happen. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, it's slowly getting better. Like it's slowly growing. It's same with esports, same with internet,
Yeah,
same with everything. It's kind of just it's slowly happening. Happening too slow for my liking, being a StarCraft 2 player and
right.
getting older and older. I'm 27 now, so I don't know how much longer I got. Hopefully I'll stop at 40 or something, but we'll see. But yeah, it's slowly coming along.
Uh, this might be heresy to a lot of StarCraft 2 fans, but have you ever thought of perhaps playing League of Legends now that it kind of does have the only support down there?
Uh, I have played a little bit on the side, but it's no RTS game, that's for sure. It's no StarCraft.
Don't have the
Uh,
passion for it?
yeah, I can't say I'd love it as much. I mean, I really do love playing StarCraft and everything that comes about it. And I think a lot of StarCraft players are not really team players. They're kind of solo guys.
Yeah.
Uh, but especially after seeing it at PAX, I felt like I should at least learn the game because it has such a scene down here. It is so much money in it, and there is so many players and fans in it that I should at least kind of get to know it a bit more. I don't really think I could ever really play it competitively or be on that top level uh, as I have been with StarCraft. But definitely tempted to give it a go.
One really last quick question about Australia. You mentioned a lot throughout this that the travel is just so brutal. Do you see yourself kind of taking couple steps back when it comes to traveling internationally, or is that just something that you as a player for yourself need to do more in the upcoming year?
I think I need to choose my flights or choose my travel more carefully. Like I need to, if I do back to back, I'm pretty much 100% guaranteed to burn out and have to take like a longer time kind of recovering and getting back into good shape again. I can't imagine how like back in the day, like Huck and Idra and all those guys traveled so much in like a year and kind of did well. This kind of thing, it's just not really possible, especially from Australia. I'm going to definitely do a lot more traveling, but I'm going to try and really pick the right time to do it, and I'm going to try and really practice well and have a lot of time to kind of prepare for it because it definitely affects you so negatively traveling from Australia. Like, and the time zones are so different unless it's in Asia, which not usually is.
Right.
If and like European trips are death. It's like 24 hours, man. It's like it's not cool.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people will be looking forward to kind of where you go next and where they can check you out on an international level. But let's just kind of closing thoughts. A lot of these are user questions, so they are a little bit different. One of the guys wanted to know, do you follow any other sports? And if so, kind of what are your favorite sports slash team to follow?
I follow UFC a fair bit. I do like a good UFC fight. I like Lyoto Machida. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's got such a weird style compared to anyone else, like very karate style. So
Sure.
I do. That's pretty much what I It's pretty much the only sport I really follow besides esports.
Right.
Um, yeah. What was the other questions?
Have you met any other athletes and what is their view on you in this industry?
Other athletes. I can't say I've really. I can't say I've really like professional athletes.
Sure. I mean, it could really be anyone. Maybe your brother, for example. I mean, you said he was a big UFC or sorry, a big MMA type guy. Like, what? How does he think of all this?
He thinks it's really cool. He thinks it's cool that I do a lot of traveling and stuff. And that's generally the consensus when I like talk to people, whether I'm just like some random dude who's like the fair, like pretty standard Aussie fair dinkum guy who works 9 to 5 and drinks a beer every day or something. I tell them, I try to explain to them what a pro gamer is and what I do, and they're all very positive. There's always been like a stigma in Australia there. It's like it's very sporting nation, very much outdoor kind of people. So they kind of don't really appreciate it when they first hear about it. But if I explain to them what I do and how like what my life is, a lot of people appreciate it.
So the number one question that I received via Reddit and via Twitter was questions about your hair.
I knew it. I knew it.
You knew it. Everyone knew it. I mean, I guess I'm actually going to ask this. How do you maintain it, mOOnGLaDe? What do you do to keep your hair so luscious?
Wow. Well, seeing you ask, JP,
You got to answer it.
uh, it's pretty much, it's not hard, man. You just got to look after your hair. I mean, I wash it and condition it every day, and I do it right. I mean, there's ways that you do, and there's ways you don't wash and condition your hair. For instance, you don't use too much shampoo, otherwise it'll dry out your hair. You don't condition the roots of your hair, otherwise your hair gets oily. Those are two basic things you need to know about hair. As for the rest, I just comb it after it's been washed, so it doesn't look like shit.
Do you have a special
And
comb?
no, it's just like a big brush. I just get all the knots out and I'm good to go. I honestly don't put much effort in at all. It kind of just sits like this normally. I actually got out of bed and it looked like this. So that's how special it is, man.
Perfect. Perfect.
There you go.
Fans will love it. So the next one, these are definitely for the Australian viewers, because a lot of this I have no idea what they're asking. What is your family's rules for backyard cricket? E.g., over the fence equals 6 and out.
What the fuck? Backyard cricket. I can't say I've played backyard cricket in about 15 to 18 years. I don't know. We were more of a soccer family, I think.
Okay.
I know that's very un-Australian. But so what were the rules in it again? Over the fence?
Yeah. So his example is over the fence equals 6 and out.
Ah, okay. Yeah, over the fence was a 6. Hitting the fence was a 4 back in the day.
There you go. There you go. I guess these are kind of privy to everyone, but what's your beer of choice?
Beer of choice. I do like actually forget it. I do like Pure Blonde. It's an Australian one.
Okay.
Jamesburg. I also like that. Those two are pretty much my kind of drink of choice. Very low carb with Pure Blonde, so got to keep it healthy.
What about hard liquor of choice?
Hard liquor. I must say I'm not very much of a hard liquor kind of guy. Does Bailey's count as hard liquor, man?
I mean, I wouldn't count that as hard liquor, but it might be hard liquor. It is not beer, and it's in a bottle that could be construed
Yeah.
as... What is the percentage of alcohol in Bailey's? I don't even know.
It's like, is it like 20 or something?
All right. I
20%?
mean, that's hard. That's like a
Kinda
soft hard
hard.
liquor.
Maybe. I could do something else. I don't mind. I don't mind shots. Whatever it is, as long as it's not tequila, I'm pretty happy. I'm not
Okay.
too picky.
Gotcha. So we're getting back into the Australian questions, I believe. Ford or Holden?
Ford.
Thoughts? Now, this is getting a little bit political. First, for real talk, thoughts on the Australian government at the moment?
Fucking mess. That's what I'll say.
Perfect. Pie or a sausage roll?
Pie. Absolutely.
Okay. And the next one has a very Australian term. I hope I pronounce this correctly. What is the daggiest story about yourself?
Daggiest. I'm a
Is that how you
dag.
pronounce it? Is it daggiest?
Yeah. Daggiest is right.
Okay.
Daggiest story. I'm usually very cool, so I'm not usually a dag, man. I mean, I used to do silly shit when I was a kid, but some of that stuff's a bit too graphic. Uh, Daggiest. See, yeah, I haven't done anything really daggy in a while. I guess. Nah, man, I got nothing. I'm sorry.
Nothing.
I'm too much of a cool cat, man. I didn't do that.
There you go.
I'm a straight shooter.
There you go. He also wants to know what is the ETA on the facial hair. I think you promised it or something like that, or
I
said you were gonna,
promised.
or you were gonna grow it out, or I don't know where he got excited about the
I
facial
can
hair. But
grow it out. I mean, I have no problem with that. I'll tell you what. After this, I won't shave anymore for a couple weeks, and then I'll do a nice photo shoot or something,
okay,
just for that guy, man.
perfect. You can get your L'Oreal sponsorship from that. I
Oh
promise.
yeah.
I promise.
Oh,
All right. So my closing questions are: what do you want your legacy to be as a player when this is all said and done? What do you want? Kind of the following statement to be mOOnGLaDe. That guy was.
that guy was the face of Australian esports, and he performed. Yeah, face of Australian esports who could mix it with the best, I guess.
Mix it with the best.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. The final question of any real talk. Define success, and then using that as the definition. Do you find yourself to be successful?
I find I find myself successful as I'm doing what I've always wanted to do all my life. I wanted to be a pro gamer, and I'm pretty much living that. I'm traveling for a living and playing a computer game. So yes, I think success is whatever makes you happy, um, whatever it may be. So I think I'm very successful right now.
Perfect. All right. Well, that does it for all my questions. I guess the final one I've got. Do you have any shout outs? Anything you want to say? This is your soapbox, so say whatever you
All
want.
right, all right. Well, shout out to all the Australians that are out there giving esports a go. Shout out to all the fans that make it possible because without the fans, it wouldn't be. Shout out to everyone that supports me, my family, my girlfriend, all my friends in Brisbane and elsewhere. And yeah, I couldn't do any of it without it, all my support. And shout out to my team, Gamecom NV. My sponsors, Plantronics Gamecom. Without those guys, I wouldn't be able to fly anywhere. My laptop sponsor, Horizon Frag Labs. Those guys provide me with the laptop that I need when traveling. So and yeah, thank you so much for having me on this thing, man. I know it's a big deal, and I'm really grateful for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. You got to follow this guy on Twitter, mOOnGLaDe AU, of course. Other than that, I don't really have much else to say. So, mOOnGLaDe, thank you for coming on. Good luck to everything in the future, and hopefully we'll definitely see more of you. And good luck to the Australian esports scene because it's something that I've definitely seen kind of grow over the course of StarCraft 2 thus far. And I only expect good things from it in the future. So that's it for Real Talk, guys. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you guys next time. JP out.